In yesterday's video, we started to talk about the habit loop and how it's a three-step process of a trigger, an action, and then a reward. Today, we're going to talk about the action part of the habit. Before we start the video, I want to quickly introduce myself. I'm Tammy Provenzel. I'm a physical therapist and a life coach for caregivers. I started this channel because I feel like there aren't enough resources and guidance for caregivers, especially in the challenging relationship with a parent. So I started this channel to be a resource. In the formation of a habit, we have a trigger. That trigger leads to an action. Let's look a little bit at the action. Once a habit's formed, the action we take is automatic. We don't even think about it now. And the longer we keep a habit, the more ingrained in our brain that pattern is. So all it takes is that little trigger, a look from somebody or seeing something, and immediately we go to that action. And that can be really good, especially if it's a positive habit. But if it's not, it makes it a little difficult to change a habit. The most important thing involved in the action part of the habit is repetition and consistency. Repeat a lot for a long time. Lots of people talk about willpower to push yourself to do something. But research actually is showing that willpower is a really hard way to instill a habit. It can be exhausting and it usually doesn't last. Instead, being able to almost embed an action that you do want into a habit loop seems to work much better, and it's less exhausting. Some things to consider when we're thinking about just the action part of the habit loop is first to break down the action into almost individual components. Then we can address each of those individual components and it makes it easier. So we could take an action we're doing and try to tweak a small part of that action. If I don't like the way that I respond when mom says she doesn't want to do something, that's pretty broad. But if I can break it down and I can think, okay, I'm going to focus on this one scenario at supper time when mom doesn't ever want to eat what I've made, then that's much more manageable. It's much easier to look at that one example than the whole relationship in general. The second thing you could think about is habit stacking. Habit stacking means adding a small habit onto a habit you already have. So for example, if you want to take a little time for yourself and you really feel like you don't have a lot of time in the day to be able to do that, you could try stacking the habit of a 5-minute meditation or something onto something you're already doing. So if your morning routine, you have a habit of making breakfast, helping mom or dad to get dressed and washed up, you could attach your 5-minute mindfulness onto the end of that. You could also use things in the environment to cue you to this new habit. If you decided that you wanted to start an exercise program, you could set your shoes right next to your bed or right under your feet so you actually step on them when you're trying to step out of bed. That will cue you that, oh yeah, this is the new habit I'm trying to make. We also want to celebrate the new action that we're trying to do. That will give our brains a dopamine hit, a good feeling hormone hit. It doesn't have to be something big and it doesn't have to be external. It can be just feel proud in that moment. Another way to get one of those little dopamine hits is to share your goals and progress with someone who's supportive of you. This really can help with increasing our commitment to keep going. And then the last thing to think about is to evaluate and readjust as you need to. So look at this action. Is it working? Tweak it if it's not. One of the most important things in that step is to be really careful about judging yourself. Try not to judge yourself. Just look at it like a scientist. Oh, this didn't work. I'll tweak it a little and try something else. So today's video was about the action part of building a habit loop. Hopefully it was helpful. If it was, please like and share, subscribe to this channel, and let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. Thanks.